I listened to Cheryln Cadle this morning too, on Armchair. And so she seems to be alluding, like I'm not on his Patreon, so I don't know what the, the breaking news is, but she's kind of alluding to the fact that it is still open and that we're going to hear more about NK. So...
No, there is no breaking news. No, the investigation is not still open. The clip that I just played is the perfect example of a woman who fits into AD's gullible demographic. And people who come on his show, like Cheryln Cadle, who lies through her teeth. I mean, this woman who just spoke at the beginning, who is actually a very intelligent woman, but she's just gullible when it comes to AD and Cheryln Cadle. And, she believes what Cheryln Cadle is saying about the investigation still being open, the Watts investigation. And we're almost 3 years into the murders now. And there's been no arrest, no speak of Nicole Kessinger on Scott Reich's channel or any other legitimate channel, nothing about Nicole Kessinger in the mainstream media. But people like AD and others, and people like Cheryln Cadle, will keep stringing you along with lies, and gullible women, like the one speaking at the beginning, will believe it. The Watts investigation, whether you like it or not, is closed. I have people coming to my channel saying that Nicole Kessinger is lawyering up because she's about to be arrested. How many times has Nicole Kessinger been about to be arrested? I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Stop being so gullible. She would have been arrested a long time ago if she was a suspect. The case has been closed for a very, very long time. AD and Cheryln Cadle and people like them are only after your money, your views, and your attention. So on the weekend, I watched Cellmate Secrets, which featured Krista Richello, who claims to be a former prison psychologist or something along those lines. And it also featured Cheryln Cadle, and there were only seconds of AD in it. So AD was in it at the beginning and at the end, but he made no impact on the show, and he only featured in a matter of seconds. I mean, he was off the screen in a matter of seconds. But when he did appear on screen, I rolled my eyes and literally wanted to vomit, because I'm sorry, I know that a lot of people who listen to this believe everything he says, but he's just, nothing that AD says is really true, particularly his conspiracy theories. And he didn't solve the Chris Watts case. The CBI agents and the police did that. But Krista Richello claims that she thinks that Chris Watts is innocent. And after I watched the program, which really gave you nothing new, just kind of another perspective. I mean, the program was done quite well. If you don't know anything about the Chris Watts case, then it was a good show. It was a good documentary. But if you already have watched documentaries and you already know about the Chris Watts case, it didn't offer you any new information. But it did offer you somebody who is after 15 minutes of fame, which I believe Krista Richello is. She's just trying to attach herself to a crime case. You know, her own mother was fascinated by true crime and fascinated by criminals such as Charles Manson. And I think Krista Richello is just after her 15 minutes of fame. And Cheryln Cadle is still riding on her 15 minutes of fame. You know, she's just continuing to, to get her 15 minutes of fame with extra time. Basically featured two liars. And I'm not saying that I didn't agree with some of the things that Cheryln Cadle said. I do agree with some of the things that Cheryln Cadle said, but most of the time I think that she's very, very deceptive. And, this idea that Chris Watts told her things that he hasn't told anyone else is just BS, because, you know, it's basically two liars riding on 15 minutes of fame with extra time, trying to get information to somebody who is a philanthropic, serial, pathological liar. I mean, Chris Watts, I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. I don't think we've ever gotten a fully truthful confession. There's no question in my mind that he committed the murders. I mean, there's never been any question in my mind. Shanann didn't do this. Shanann would never have harmed her children. But I don't believe that Chris Watts is capable of telling the truth. But yeah, I watched the Cellmate secret show, and you know, it's just all trying to capitalize on a crime that has become very popular online. You know, so they're basically, you know, Krista Ricciello, Cheryln Cadle are two liars trying to get close to, or trying to get information out of a pathological liar like Chris Watts, who really, I agree, guys, no one should be talking about this person anymore. I mean, he will never get out. And as delusional as his parents are, thinking that he's going to get out one day, it will never happen. But I just wanted to tell you what I thought of the Cellmate secret show, because you know, it probably will be doing the rounds on YouTube. People will probably be talking about it, and I just wanted to get my 50 cents in. But basically, Cheryln Cadle has zero credibility, in my opinion. Cheryln Cadle, I believe, is someone who probably started out, not necessarily for definite, but I strongly suspect that she probably started out as one of these, you know, female fans of AD, because most of his fans are middle-aged women, women who, watch him. They believe everything he tells them, and he keeps stringing women along with these lies. And Cheryln Cadle was probably one of those watching him and believing everything that he says. But I think there is a point where she also became corrupt as well. I don't think Cheryln Cadle is malicious. I don't think that she's evil. I just think that she has an agenda. And her agenda is to sell her books. I mean, how much of her story can you really believe when she was caught plagiarizing her first book? I mean, this is somebody who is a plagiarizer, who is a known plagiarizer. And even if she was talking to Chris Watts, how much of what he says can we all really believe? I mean, this is somebody who is a phenomenal, pathological liar. This is somebody who committed this awful crime and blamed his wife, put all the blame on his wife. And when that didn't work, he made a bunch of confessions, and I still don't think we ever got the truth out of him. And I'm not saying that Nicole Kessinger is definitely not involved. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's no evidence of her involvement. And, how long are you going to be gullible enough to believe that she's going to be arrested? It's been 3 years now. 3 years of this, stringing you along with these lies. Now, Nicole Kessinger is no saint. Like I said, she's not completely innocent. I don't think that she's completely innocent. I don't have much sympathy for her. I don't think she showed much empathy for Chris Watts' family, his wife and kids. But, I mean, she's been used as some kind of scapegoat. And the truth of the matter is, I'm really not all that interested in what happens to her, what she does. As far as I'm concerned, the case has been closed for a long time. Chris Watts is exactly where he needs to be. And, they're just people who are still going to try and string you on with all these lies of this imminent arrest that will never happen. And even though Kim Kaufman is not really on that tangent. She speaks a lot of rubbish as well. I mean, most of the stuff that comes out of Kim Kaufman's mouth is just rambling streams of nonsense. 1 minute she is speaking to the Watts family, the next minute she's not speaking to the Watts family. 1 minute she's saying that Chris wants to have his day in court. The next minute she's saying that, the family don't want him out of prison, even though they've been evidently trying to get him out of prison for many years. So she goes around in circles and she contradicts herself and she just rambles on, and it's all about getting, filling her pockets as well, because she's a nonsensical speaker. She just is probably worse than AD. All this 35C BS where she was recording phone calls with Ronnie and Cindy Watts was saying the 35C needed to be done, and I can't waste any more time. Get my son a new trial. Well, he never had a trial to begin with, so he can't get a new trial. And, it was all nonsense, lies, rubbish, and BS. And there comes a time, I know that the Chris Watts case is always going to be fascinating to a lot of people. Not everyone, but to a lot of people. But there's got to come a time when you all have got to stop being so gullible. Because I've got people coming to my channel telling me all kinds of nonsense because of what AD, Cheryln Cadle, Kim Kaufman, and other people have said. And the amount of two-faced people and hypocrisy in the Watts case is also unbelievable. Because I have people coming to my channel saying, Kim said this, Kim is such a bad person. And some of these people who say this, I go to Kim's channel, which I don't go to very often, but sometimes I will, just to see what rubbish she's talking about this time. And I'll see those very same people in her chats telling her what a fantastic person she is. So there is a lot of hypocrisy in the Watts case as well, and a lot of lies. The fact is, the case is closed. And, AD, people like AD and other channels, they're just stringing you along with BS, because there are so many gullible people, gullible women who believe every word that he says and believe every word that Cheryln Cadle says. I've come to realize over time that Cheryln Cadle is not only she's not a very intelligent person, but she's also somebody who is out for her own gain, just like AD.